Thanks, Sean. Good morning, Zack.
Morning.
All right, so you had to sit out a couple preseason games, and now you're in like where you're raring to go, like ready to get in there after watching the first.
Yeah, definitely. We're excited. Real excited to get back in on the action. Watching the game from above yesterday during the first period, it was pretty cool to see fans back in the building and just to get that excitement around. It's exciting. We're excited to go to Winnipeg.
Okay, so from talking to athletes over the years, I've heard everything from I hate training camp, I just want to play games that count, to no, I need those games to get back into shape. Where do you fall, or like, do you have a preferred number of games that you would play?
No, I think now in today's NHL, everyone comes in shape. It's not the old days where you use training camp to get into shape, but there is a big deal of timing and whatnot that you like to use exhibition games to get your timing back, people leaning on you. It's a little different than your squad games, so I'm excited to get back in there. Obviously, me and Fogs playing together, hopefully we can build some chemistry and create something well there.
You mentioned the fans. When you're on the ice, how much do you actually hear? Is it the stuff between plays? Because I imagine if you're on a shift, you're pretty focused on what you're doing, or is it just sort of a general sense of noise and energy?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like the general sense of noise and energy that has the impact on the game, or simple plays that you notice when you're playing. You're not looking around, but the general sense of energy and kind of back noise, you can definitely hear that.
All right, so when you're playing at Rogers Place and there's a positive play for the Oilers and everybody's cheering, I assume that gets everybody going. When you're on the road and maybe you do something or deliver a body check and the opposing fans are booing you or getting on you, does that energize you as well, that type of energy coming?
Yeah, any type of energy from the fans, it's fun. That's it's one of the big parts of playing in the NHL. That's what makes it so special, is playing in front of fans. So I think everyone would tell you the same thing. We missed him. We're happy to have him back.
And early impressions of Warren Foegele, who you've been on a line with in camp.
Yeah, well, you've played against him a few times in Carolina there. He's obviously a guy that is very tenacious on the puck. He brings a lot of speed. He's a really good shot. So as a line, I think we're just going to focus on hunting pucks, being good on the forecheck, creating a lot of turnovers, and being physical.
Zack, over here. Good to see you. Just want to ask you about, obviously last year was so frustrating with the injuries and things like that. Do you kind of just put that year behind you, or do you take some lessons from that and use that as motivation? Sure.
I don't think you take lessons from injuries. You don't go in trying to get injured. I think those are part of the game. You're going to have up and down years. You play long career in the NHL. I'd love to say it's all positive, but there's going to be some negatives in there, and I think last year was an example of that. It was tough to gain any traction, and when I did, it seemed like I was getting injured. So can't really dwell on the past, and nothing you can do about it now. Obviously, it was a frustrating year, but there's a lot to be excited about this season, and I'm excited to get back to where I can be playing.
It was just some bad luck last year, I guess. You kind of hope that the luck has changed this year. Or you're not even worry about that. You just think, just play the game and kind of see what happens.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's bad luck. Like I said, injuries are part of the game. It's you're going to get injured. You try not to, but things happen, and it just so happened that my injuries seemed to be a minimum of 3, 4, 5 weeks. And when you're playing a shortened season, playing every other day, like I said, it's tough to get in the groove. But I'm excited for the season, just like everybody else.
Thanks.
Zack, you're a guy who's played up and down the lineup here in Edmonton. What would it mean to you to have, we've talked about Warren Foegele, to have like a constant set of line mates, Foegele and potentially Derek Ryan as well?
Yeah, I think you look at all the teams, and every team that's a good team that runs deep into the playoffs, every line has an identity, and I think if me and folks can create some chemistry and build off of our training camp, I think we can be a line that's very tenacious on the puck, very physical, making it hard on opponents, making it hard on defensemen, and we can bring a certain level of energy that our team could feed off of. So I'm excited to get in with them, excited to get in our first game. Obviously, there's a lot to be excited for, so just can't wait to get going.
I'm sure it's fun to play with Connor McDavid, but is that line kind of and a dream line for you or suits you just as well? Like that type of line with Vogel and Ryan potentially?
I've always said I feel like with my skill set, I can play anywhere up and down the lineup. So I don't mind playing down the lineup. I don't mind playing up. It's one of those things where to be a good team, you need to have different identity lines, like I said earlier. And I think me and folks have the skill set to bring a lot of energy and a lot of pace and a lot of speed to this team and create a lot of energy and create a lot of havoc. And in return, that's going to create some scoring chances for us and set our big boys up.
Speaking of the big boys, Zack, they're not traveling, and maybe that provides a different opportunity too. Just first unit power play time, you're basically going to be on the top offensive line. I know it's not going to change your game a bit, but you want to give the impression that you can contribute maybe on a second power play unit or something like that during the year. There's an opportunity tonight for you, isn't there?
There's always opportunity at the NHL. There's every year you have to prove yourself, and I think obviously the big boys are staying home, so you want to go on the road first and foremost. You want to get your feet in it. You want to be engaged, and you want to start building your game. And I think whenever you get an opportunity, whether it be power play or whatnot, you want to show well. You want to show you can do it. So if there's ever something that goes on in the season, you can show the coaches that you're capable of doing it. So the exhibition games are one to get your body, mind, get leaning on people, but it's also one of those things where you can show what else you can do, for sure.
Zack, how are you doing? I just wanted to ask a little bit, not to bring this up, but you turned 30, and I think it's safe to say you're entering the second half of your career, and I'm wondering how your perspective has changed with a family and what you're looking to achieve in the second half of your career as maybe if you take me back to when you were a younger player and how those goals might have changed.
Wow, good question, Jack. I want to win a Stanley Cup. Yeah. I think as you get older in the league, I think you realize how big of a privilege it is. I think you don't take anything for granted. As you get older, you realize it's a privilege to play in the league. We're all blessed to play in the league. I don't think as you get older with family, kids, you start to realize that this league's pretty special, and to play in it, you try not to take it for granted, I'd say. But from a career standpoint, I want to win a cup. I think that's where everyone plays. That's where you train in the summer. That's why you play the game. That's why you play roller hockey in your backyard. That's the ultimate goal, and I truly think here, I know people are getting impatient, but it's a process, and I think we're well on our way to being contenders, and that's all you can ask for every year, right? You want to go into the year, you want to have a good regular season as a team, and you want to get in the playoffs, and I think we've done that the last couple of years under crazy circumstances. So to be back to some normality here, I think ultimately, to answer your question, would be to win the Stanley Cup. Definitely, I know you can't play in this league forever. That's one of the positive things that moving forward, I think, you can just try to do everything you possibly can to bring a cup back to Edmonton.
And my follow-up would be just in terms of your full investment, you're part of this core of the same 7 or 8 guys that's got another chance this year and are going to have chances moving forward. Is it a good feeling to be part of a core unit that is now past the point where they're just hoping to get in the playoffs and have maybe higher goals at hand? Definitely.
I think, like when I came here, this is going into my 7th year, we got Connor McDavid, you get Leon Draisaitl, you realize the potential these have, but now to see these players grow and to see what not only type of human beings there, but players, and then you get Darnell Nurse, and you get a lot of those guys that have matured and grown over the years. Like I said, as they get older, you start to realize you don't take anything for granted, but to be with an organization for that long, it's pretty cool. But ultimately, at the end of the day, being here that long, you're going to be surrounded by negativity, sometimes positivity. It's when you're in a market like this, they want to win. Trust me, we want to win just as much, but sometimes it's a process. But I feel like we're kind of at that stage now where you can look back, you can sit. It's not really, you're not really hoping for it. You know it's there if you put in the work, and everyone gels together, and we get off to a good start. That we might have something special here. So that's kind of the mindset I'm taking every day of just coming in here, working hard, and ultimately getting into the playoffs and making some noise.
Zack, how you doing? You mentioned that you feel you're a contender now, and last season I think was a pretty tough loss for Winnipeg. A player we didn't win. How do you focus on the regular season, knowing the playoffs is now ultimately what this team is going to be about? Is it small steps? Is it 10-game steps? What do you feel you do as a group to ensure that when you get to the playoffs, you're ready to win in the playoffs?
Yeah, well, this league doesn't have any guarantees. It's not guaranteed you're in the playoffs. We hold ourselves high expectations, obviously, but the season's a hard season. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows, but ultimately, as a team, we need to hold each other accountable. There's our power play needs to be good. Our special team, needs to be good. Our 5-on-5 play, we're going to need both goaltenders. We're going to need guys coming in and out as I'm sure we'll run into injuries. So you really can't get too far ahead of yourselves. You want to take it probably 5-game segment, 10-game segments, but you just want to grow your game as a group. Obviously, we talk about the playoffs, but we realize there's a lot of work to get there, and I think we're all excited for the challenge.
Yesterday, Dave Tippett mentioned you have a grit and an energy level that there's not a lot of guys in your team have. Vogel, he's got a little bit of a jerk in his game. A little bit. Is it easier because it's hard, respect to score goals every game. It's hard to be a physical impact player every night. Can it be easier when you've got a running mate almost where he might stir the pot, and then it's naturally easier for you to get engaged and involved with another guy? Do you find that, or does it work in the past that way for you?
I don't know if it's worked in the past, but it definitely can't hurt. When you have a guy out there that's being physical, hounding pucks, it's a positive, contagious energy that not only his line mates are going to benefit from, but I think the team will benefit from. So you never can have enough guys that bring a lot of energy and hound pucks and play physical and play with a high energy. I think that's contagious throughout the whole team, throughout the whole lineup.